Hey, what's up, Facebook and YouTube? It's your girl Mahogany Roots here, and I'm back at you again with another video. You guys, I debated long and hard about whether I wanted to talk about celebrity news. I'm really not into celebrities like that, you know. So, but something in my spirit, I could not let go of this Michael Jackson situation. Just to let you guys know where I stand, I am and have always been a Michael Jackson fan. With the release of this documentary was honestly the first time I'd say for a split second. For a split second, I questioned whether or not that was the right choice. But like I said, it was for a split second. Then once reality hit of what these guys were seeing, I was like, okay, I'm definitely on the right team. And I'm going to tell you why I say that. First thing I want to say is a lot of you guys get on me about whether or not I do research. I do plenty of research, okay? And just to prove it, I have the research here. So I'm going to show you guys the amount of time and effort I take to research the subject, okay? Nothing but research here. Nothing. All MJ information. Okay, so let's get started. What, about a month ago, the documentary Leaving Neverland came out by Dan Reed. I think everybody that has seen it, you can't help but be touched by it. I mean, after I watched it, I was actually in a state of just sadness and disgust and questioning Michael. But that lasts for, like I said, literally a second. Then reality hit, like, wait a minute. What about these two dudes? Like, what do we know about these guys? Are they credible? And from all the information that I found, and when I say I watched literally every interview that Michael Jackson ever had, whether it was positive or negative, I watched it. I Googled every person, every little bit of information that I could find on the cases, investigation of Michael Jackson throughout the years. I've got it. And ultimately, it all led me to be on the side of Michael Jackson. These two gentlemen are not very credible at all. And all of the accused of Michael Jackson have been incredible. And I'm going to break this shit down. And I'm going to show you how I came to the conclusion that I came to, okay? I'm not just talking. So be patient. Okay. So we have the accusers. What's his name? Dave Chuck and Wade Robinson accused Michael Jackson of ongoing molestation. Wade said it began when he was 7 and went on till he was about 14. He said that it happened over almost every single time that he was with Michael Jackson. He claimed that it happened over 100 times. They were very in detailed in this documentary, very, very in detailed, and I really believe that's how they got the sympathy of the audience. Dave Chuck claims that he didn't recall anything until he saw Wade talking about his experience. Then all of a sudden, his memory, he had a relapse in memory, and he could remember that he had been sexually molested by Michael Jackson. Now, I'm going to jump back. I'm bringing you guys to what's going on now, and I'm going to jump back to all the accusers of Michael Jackson and how incredible, un, what's the word I'm looking for? Incredible they are. They're not believable at all. So the first situation we have is back in 1993 with a young man named Jordan Chandler. Okay, Jordan Chandler absolutely adored Michael Jackson. But in 1993, his father brought a lawsuit against Michael for his son being sexually molested. His father ends up getting caught on an audio tape saying that, how he's got the case down packed. And he actually drugged his son. He was a dentist. And he put his son under sedation and convinced his son, he sent the anesthesiologist out of the room, convinced his son that Michael Jackson had molested him. Up until this point, the boy consistently said that Michael Jackson never touched him inappropriately. He sedated his son. Anybody that has ever worked with patients under sedation knows that, first of all, you can't believe it. They don't know what's going on. They're like literally on a cloud. And this particular drug is also known as a true serum type of drug, supposedly. But it's not hard to convince somebody who's sedated of something. They don't know what's going on. So he did this, and then he sent his son to a therapist who's, of course, mandated by law to report any childhood abuse. So, of course, the kid goes in after being brainwashed under sedation by his father, goes into the therapist saying, yes, I believe Michael Jackson molested me. Thank goodness there is a Most High. But all this got caught. They did settle out of court. And this is the thing that really had started the ball rolling with people suing Michael. Michael settled out of court with this kid's family for millions of dollars. I believe towards $20 million or something like of the sort. But what they don't tell you is that kid's father, Evan Chandler, ended up committing suicide right after Michael Jackson died, probably from the guilt. He also was caught on camera or on auto pretty much talking about how he's going to get Michael for everything he's worth. It had nothing to do with his son being molested. That wasn't even on his radar. He could care less. He wanted custody because he was going through a custody battle, and he wanted money from Michael Jackson. And once he got it, he could care less about, you would think that your child just got molested, that your primary concern would be about justice for your child. But as you guys are going to see, that is nobody's primary concern, even with these two guys here. Because which justice are they going to get from a dead man? The only thing they can get from a dead man is money. That's the bottom line. So back to this kid. Yeah, basically, and a lot of people don't understand why Michael did that. He was listening to his advisors. He got some bad legal advice, but he was looking at it this way. Let's end this. This thing, it had already been drawn out for months and months and months. I believe 18 plus months, and he just wanted it over with. He just wanted it over with. He wanted to go on with his life. So he agreed to it. Okay, so that's the first accuser. Then back in 2005, he's getting sued again by the Gavin Orviso child. I say child and the Gavin Orviso family, because it's never really these children. And Michael knew it. That's why he never got angry at the children, because he knew that these poor kids had some horrible ass parents. And I'm going to get into that too. Okay, so Gavin Orviso was the young man who, during an interview, he was talking about him sleeping in Michael Jackson's bed. Michael asking him to sleep in his bed. This is when shit really hit the fan. He did that interview with this guy. I can't remember the dude's name. But it was like a piece of shit journalist who had it out for Michael Jackson. And they showed a clip of the interview. And it's if you YouTube it, it's called you just put MJ Loving and it'll pop up. Because that's where Michael Jackson, he said, it's unusual for a 40-something-year-old man to be sleeping with kids. And he was like, isn't this just, he said, well, it's an act of kindness, it's an act of love. And he continued to go on to explain what he meant by that, but of course they cut that out. The media is a piece of work, child. That's one thing I agree with Trump on. They are a piece of fucking work. Um, so yeah, the Gavin Ovizo kid, which was a bunch of bullshit. That case, he won that trial. He was acquitted on all 14 charges. He was investigated for a total of over a period of 10 years by the FBI. They found absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing at all. And all these witnesses that Dan Reed have brought up on his documentary, all these witnesses these were horrible witnesses. They were thrown out of court for lying or perjuring themselves. The freaking maid. She that chick, let me see. Y'all, I should have had my notes better together than this. I apologize. Hold on, y'all. Oh yeah, the interview was by Martin Bashir. That dude was absolutely disgusting. And like I said, he had it out for Michael, y'all. But this maid, I can't remember her. Adrienne McManus. Adrienne McManus. Child, she's in the damn documentary talking shit about Michael. But what she didn't mention is that she's a fucking thief. Okay, she had a lawsuit against the estate that was thrown out because she had stolen artwork, tried to sell them to the tabloids, tried to sell several stories to the tabloids, but didn't have a lick of proof. She up there talking about how Michael had Vaseline around the ranch. Now let's use common sense here. Michael had a disease called vitiligo. We all know about that. If you don't believe it, you can look up photos of Michael where you can see his skin discoloration disorder. And anybody knowing anything about God, can't remember the name of the acid, but he was using a cream that's pretty much used to bleach the skin. But it wasn't to just bleach the skin for no reason. It was to even out his skin tone because he had the blotches. And anyway, anytime you use any type of skin exfoliant or anything like that, it dries out the skin, and so you need to bring moisture back to the skin. And that's probably the explanation for the Vaseline being all over the place. But of course, they tried to make it look like it was something that it wasn't. Just like in that interview that he had with Bashir. So right now, me and my son often sit in this bed. I have a king size bed, and we watch movies together. Just last weekend, me, my son, and my boyfriend were in here watching movies together. Are we in here having an orgy? You know what I'm saying? But that's the way that the media, they like drama. And unfortunately, people like drama. There's no story in, oh, they just had a family night and they're just watching movies together. They got to make it sound nasty and filthy. And Michael wasn't like that. But they wanted people to think that he was. But like I said, the Most High knows all. So Adrienne McManus, she's talking about how she found Vaseline and she found this. She was also found to be lying on the stand, and her testimony was thrown out. So she's uncredible. Now, Dan Reed chose to interview these two men. And the next question is, okay, that's one side of the story. Why don't you interview people who give a different side of the story? Like Macaulay Culkin, like Chris Tucker, like Brett Barnes. People who spent time with Michael who say the complete opposite. So the documentary is definitely one-sided. And he knows it. He knows it. He's very unapologetic about it because he knows the shit is fucked up. Okay, you guys, I apologize. I'm jumping all over the place, but I'm just so heated by this whole thing because it's fucked up. that they're doing this to a man who's been dead and gone for 10 plus years, and they're throwing dirt on his name. It really is sad. It's sad. It's a testimony to how low people will go. They just cannot let this man rest in peace. But I do believe that the truth will come out. I believe that. And these two gentlemen that have decided to dig up Michael's good name and throw dirt on it, they're going to pay for it. They are going to pay. But back on to Dan Reed's witnesses that he have in his documentary. They're all trash. Any name that he pulled out in this documentary that testified against Michael, you can Google any of these people's names. They were all found to be liars. Every last one of them. Interested in money, trying to get money from the tabloids and all that. None of them are credible at all. They're just not good people. So that's what I have to say about that. Let me see. I'm going to try and bring this to a close, y'all. I know it's a lot. It really is. And I'm trying to make it as short as I can. I started talking about Gavin Arvizo case back in 2005. I want to tell you guys a little bit more about that. So Gavin Arvizo was said to be a cancer patient. I do believe he was a cancer patient. But it was later found out that his family, this family had so much stuff going on. Like, they were basically a bunch of scam artists. The whole family was. Here's some notes that I got. The Gavin Arvizo family reached out to several celebrities, to include Chris Tucker, to include Jay Leno, asking for things, saying because Gavin, was a cancer patient, playing on people's sympathy. The mom had some kind of fraud going on. She was collecting money for Gavin, and oh gosh, let me see. I got a lot of information on them. They asked Chris Tucker for a car. But they had a history. The family, the mom, was accused of shoplifting at JCPenney's. She had a lawsuit against JCPenney's, saying after they detained her for shoplifting, she said she was sexually assaulted by one of the people at the JCPenney's. Like, these people were just scam artists, pretty much. And then Gavin, his testimony and his mom's testimony is really what blew it out the park. His mom was like going off about the German war and all that. She was out of her mind. It almost makes you feel sorry for this kid. It really does. All these children. Like, what kind of parents do these kids have? But the question that Michael Jackson's lawyer asked, that really put the nail in the coffin, when they asked Gavin, like, why are you so mad at Michael Jackson? And he yelled out, because he stopped calling me. It had nothing to do with him molesting him. It had nothing to do with him, taking advantage of him or anything. It had to do with him because, quote unquote, he stopped calling me and cut me out of his life. That's why he was upset with Michael Jackson. And you guys, I'm just bringing all this up because I do think now with the Me Too that a lot of times one person's side is just taking as truth. Now, don't get me wrong. I support people who have been, abused sexually, assaulted and all that. Absolutely. But these two men, that's not what's going on here. That's not at all. And you can tell. You can really tell if you look into it. And sometimes we just need to take time instead of jumping on the boat. I feel like when all this stuff came down, everybody was willing to just pull out their pitchforks and just stick it to Michael without really looking into these people's characters. Just because somebody says something doesn't deem it to be true. And think about it. What's the worst thing you could say about somebody? Is that they're a rapist or that they're a molester? Those are two things that no one sympathizes with. Like, you're automatically, if someone's being accused of that, you're automatically going to give them the side eye. You're automatically going to look at them like they're trash. But sometimes you have to be willing to take a deeper look. Don't just get your pitchforks out. And I feel like a lot of people did that with Michael Jackson, because now it's talk about pulling his music. Let me tell you something. Regardless of the fact, I don't think they should pull his music, and I'll tell you why. What sense does it make to pull Michael Jackson's music? First of all, he was found innocent. That's number one. Number two, if you're going to pull Michael Jackson's music, then you need to pull Elvis Presley. You need to pull a whole lot of other people's music too. You know what I'm saying? Separate the person from the art. That's what needs to happen. Yeah, I'm definitely not a fan of that. How many people do we have sitting up on Capitol Hill making laws that beat their wives or cheat on their wives? Are the laws going to be struck from the books? You got to separate the two. And the fact of the matter is, these men don't have any proof. And I believe they don't have any proof because they're lying. I don't know if I touched everything. I'm not sure. Tried to give it to you guys short and sweet, as short as I could. Let's see. My issues with them is their inconsistent testimony. Initially, they were on a defense for Michael. Wade Robinson was Michael Jackson's first defense witness. Adam Safechuck. Wade consistently said that Michael never touched him. And so did Safechuck. Seems to have an issue remembering dates and times. Now, keep in mind, I'm talking about when they testified as adults. I'm not talking about anything that was said to them when they were young. I'm talking about as adults. Safechuck to say that, what was it that he said? That he didn't realize it until he saw Wade come out. The questions that were asked to him in the courtroom, it wasn't if you were molested. It was, did Michael Jackson touch you here? Did Michael Jackson touch you there? And as an adult, you should be able to answer those questions. You understand whether somebody's touching you in your private parts or not. So I'm not buying that. I think it's just an excuse. And then there was a video that I saw that talks about the loophole with the there's a loophole right now. They are suing the estate. Okay, and the estate includes Michael Jackson's children. I cannot wait till these children grow up. I hope they sue the hell out of these guys. I hope they sue the hell out of HBO. Because it's just horrible what they're doing. But there's a loophole that if the person could not remember, and I really believe that that's where all this is coming from, because of that loophole in that lawsuit. Because they can't go back and testify, you know what I'm saying, against a dead man, you know what I'm saying. So, and then they can't do that anyway, because then they would perjure themselves, and they just can't. So this is like the only way they can get their payday, if you will. I think I've touched on the majority of everything I wanted to touch on. Take some time, people. Take some time to see. If you disagree with me, let me know why you disagree with me in the comment section. If you agree with me, let me know why you agree with me. Like I said, at this point with me, there is no changing my mind, because I've done so much research that there's just no changing my mind. And what sealed it for me is the inconsistency of these people. They were the final nails for me to dead this, because they're not trustworthy people. Now, if they had some people that were, didn't have the history that these two have, maybe. But these two guys, not clean. Not clean at all. And, I want to talk about Oprah. So Oprah has them on. I'm just going to end with this. Oprah has them on, and I understand Oprah was a victim of child molestation. A lot of people were victims of child molestation. We understand that, but just because my issue with Oprah is, if you Google Oprah and Harvey Weinstein, there's like 50 million thousand pictures of her hugged up with this dude. She never did a show about him. She never interviewed the victims that all the victims that he ran through and raped and drugged and did God knows what to these women. But yet she's dragging Michael through the mud, and I don't like that, because once again, he was innocent. He was found innocent. And then the second thing is, she did several interviews with Michael Jackson himself and with the Jackson family, and she was acting as if she was their friend. And then I saw her on an interview saying that Michael Jackson was not her friend. Ciao. If that ain't a two-faced heifer, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I said I wasn't going to drag Oprah. I don't like dragging people I don't know, but that is some bullshit. For real. And I had always, Monique for a long time have been talking shit about Oprah, and I liked Oprah. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to believe she was like that, but she lost a lot of respect from me. Not that it matters, but I have no respect for the lady. No respect at all. And I think a lot of people feel the way I feel because of what they see her, how she's treated Michael in his death. So now all of a sudden she's not his friend. She says it's for something greater than Michael. Well, that could be true if you had people that were credible on your show. These two are not credible. Get some people who were molested. No, but the reason you had these two men because Michael's name is in this. And so you get views off of Michael's name. But then you're going to say that this is bigger than Michael. Then why not just have any of the victims on your show? You're using Michael's name. It's really sad. But Oprah, what goes around comes around, sweetheart. You guys, I hope you like this video. If you haven't already, please come to my channel, like, share, subscribe my videos. I appreciate y'all, and hopefully I'll have one up soon.
Meanwhile, CBS obtained a secretly taped phone conversation allegedly between the father of the boy who accused Jackson of sexual abuse and the boy's stepfather. Listen to this.
This man is going to be humiliated beyond belief. Yeah. He will not believe it. He will not believe what's going to happen to him. Yeah. Beyond his worst nightmares. Sell one more record. If I go through with this, I win big time. I will get everything I want. They will be destroyed forever.
Jackson's private investigator says the tapes prove that Jackson is telling the truth about his accusers just wanting money.
All right, you guys. So I thought just for fun, I'd throw this clip in. So I was surfing YouTube, and there's this YouTuber called Michael Trapson. He's a Michael Jackson impersonator. He's really funny. And I ran across this clip. And I really do think that if Michael Jackson was alive, this is how he would respond to the whole Leaving Neverland documentary. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Shout out to Michael Trapson. You guys should go subscribe to him. He's really, really funny. And I'll see you guys soon.
Leaving Neverland, leaving Neverland.
Don't move. One wrong move, and I'll blow your goddamn head off. Turn around. Slow. Yeah. Back up, Wade. Yeah. Get your bitch ass in here. Uh-huh. You thought you was slick, huh? You thought you was slick?
Yeah.
Shut up. Leaving Neverland. Abuse. Nigga said I abused you?
I'm sorry, Mike.
Shut up! Making money off my name. Give me this goddamn money. Bitch, nigga. It's my now. Now, ain't got no gun on you. Ain't got no glow, huh? Of course you don't, because you're a little boy, huh?
Yeah.
Shut up! Now, where's James Safechuck at?
He's on a plane.
Shut up! Oh, lie again! Lie again! Oh, lie again! Lie again! Say another motherfucking lie and it's over, and I ain't playing!
Mike.
Now, who sent you?
HBO, man.
HBO?
Yeah.
For real?
Yes. HBO and Oprah.
Oprah sent you?
Yeah.
Oh, I knew I couldn't trust that coon ass. Ah! Y'all niggas, man. I gave y'all Thriller.
Sorry, man.
I still love you.
I needed the money.
I still love you.